Today, we're going to talk about a dental experiment that, and I'm not exaggerating here, completely changed everything we thought we knew about keeping our teeth for life. It was so ambitious, so long term, the results were just incredible. So, let me ask you something. Do you think it's possible to go for the next 30 years and have almost no new cavities and lose practically zero teeth? I know, it sounds kind of like science fiction, doesn't it? But believe it or not, a group of researchers in Sweden decided to put that exact idea to the test. So the story really starts with this one single culprit, the bad guy, if you will. And it's not a new discovery. We're talking research going all the way back to the 50s and 60s. A huge amount of evidence all pointed to one thing being the main cause of both cavities and gum disease. You know what I'm talking about? It's dental plaque. Now, the study's official term for it is the main etiological factor, which is just a fancy way of saying it's the #1 cause of most of our dental problems. And it's important to know this isn't just, leftover bits of food. It's a living, organized community of bacteria. So the researchers had this really simple but kind of brilliant idea. What would happen if we could just get really, really good at controlling this one thing, plaque, over a super long period of time? And that one question, it led them to kick off one of the biggest, most in-depth dental studies ever. We're talking 1971. They wanted to see if a dedicated, long-term assault on plaque could totally change what we think of as normal dental aging. And yet, when I say long-term, I really mean it. The study started with over 550 people. They were split into two groups, a test group that got this special preventive program and a control group that just got, regular dental care. But here's the thing. After only 6 years, the results from the test group were so dramatically better that they actually had to stop the control group. It was almost unethical to continue. But the test group, they kept at it for 30 full years. So you're probably wondering, what was this amazing program? What was the secret weapon they were using? Well, you might be surprised at how simple it was. It wasn't some magic pill. It was built on 3 really solid pillars. Okay, so pillar number 1, and this is so important, personalized education. We're not talking about just getting a brochure. No, they actually taught every single person how to see the plaque on their own teeth and then how to get rid of it properly. Second, of course, was regular professional cleanings. And third, and this is key, the whole thing was customized. If you were high risk, you came in every 3 months. Low risk, maybe just once a year. It was a true partnership between the patient and the dental team. So picture this. For 3 decades, these people just followed the program. They lived their lives, they got older, and then in 2002, the final data came in. And honestly, the results were just breathtaking. Let's start with the most fundamental question. Did they actually keep their teeth? All right, check this out. Let's take the youngest group, people who were between 20 and 35 when this whole thing started. Over the entire 30-year period, they lost, on average, less than half a tooth, 0.4 teeth to be exact. That's basically zero. It's an annual tooth loss rate of 0.01. Incredible. And okay, what about the older folks? The group that started out between 51 and 65 years old. By the end of the study, they were in their 80s and 90s, and they only lost an average of 1.8 teeth over 30 years. This proves it wasn't just some trick for young people. This program worked for everybody, at every age. This chart is just fantastic because it shows a massive generational shift. Look at the black bars. That's what was normal for someone aged 51 to 65 back in 1972. You see a lot of people missing 5, 6, even 8 teeth. It was just expected. Now look over at the checkered bars. That's the same age group, but in 2002. These are the people from our study. And the difference is just wild. The vast majority of them have almost a full set of teeth. We're talking 26, 27, even all 28. Okay, so keeping your teeth is awesome, but that's only part of the story, right? Were those teeth healthy, or were they just full of fillings? Well, it turns out the results for cavities and gum disease were just as mind-blowing. Just take a look at this table. It's showing the number of new cavities people got over the whole 30 years. Of the 257 folks who finished the study, 107 of them had 0 new cavities, not a single one. And another 94 people had only 1 or 2. Come on, this is over a 30-year span of someone's life. That's just unheard of. And this chart, this one really tells the story. Back in 72, for that older group, you see that big black chunk. That represents tooth surfaces that were just gone, missing teeth.
Now, fast forward to 2002 to the people in the study. That black, missing part is almost totally gone. And what's it replaced by? That big white section, which means intact, healthy, untouched tooth surfaces. It's a total reversal.
All right, so we've covered two huge things. They kept their teeth and they didn't get new cavities. But what about the foundation? The gums and bone that hold everything together? How did they fare? This chart is another incredible before and after story. Look on the left, that's 1972. All those different patterns show various levels of gum disease that needed treatment. It's a real mess, right? A lot of problems. Now, look at the bar on the right. That's 2002. It's almost completely the white bar, score 0, which means healthy. They pretty much wiped out gum disease in this group. Okay, let's just boil all that data down to one simple, powerful comparison. In 1972, for that older group, 27% of their tooth sites needed some kind of gum therapy. 27%? After 30 years in this program, that number dropped to just 1%. 1. It went from more than a quarter of all sites needing help to basically none at all. So what's the big takeaway here? What does all this mean for us? Well, this is way more than just a cool piece of dental history. It's a blueprint. It's powerful, definitive proof of what can happen when we stop just fixing problems after they start and instead focus on preventing them from ever happening in the first place. The researchers who ran the study, in their classic, very dry, scientific way, summed it all up like this. They said, the incidence of caries and periodontal disease as well as tooth mortality in this subject sample was very small. Very small might just be the biggest understatement in the entire history of dental research. So let's break down what this incredible 30-year experiment really proved. First, losing your teeth is not a normal part of getting old. It's not inevitable. Second, that a consistent, focused effort to control plaque is unbelievably effective. Third, prevention isn't just a nice idea. It dramatically cuts down the need for future dental work. And finally, the real key, the secret sauce, is that combination of what you do at home and the support you get from a professional. In the end, this whole thing isn't just about teeth, is it? It's a huge lesson in the sheer power of prevention. It proved what was possible for one group of people over 3 decades. So the real question it leaves us with is, if they could do that for their teeth, what could you prevent in your own health over the next 30 years?